Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? Grab your coffee, maybe a snack or two, and let's get into it, all right? We got a lot to talk about today. And you never know what's going to fly out of my mouth. So listen, we've been keeping track of these coincidences that have been going on, right? And here's another one for you, all right? Chesapeake, Virginia. Yeah, a fire took place at the Purdue Farms facility in South Norfolk area of Chesapeake Saturday evening. Okay, and the Chesapeake Fire Department is currently working on an industrial fire at the grain processing and storage facility. Firefighters, they received a call at 501 Barnes, and that's B-A-R-N-E-S Road at 8:41 at night, after a plant operator at Purdue acknowledged and verified a fire at the location. All employees from the area were evacuated, so that's a good thing. And when crews arrived, they found a large soybean processing tank with flames coming from the top. And firefighters, they climbed multiple flights of stairs using multiple hose lines to battle the fire. Now the fire was called under control at 9:48 at night with no injuries reported. Now soybean products must now be removed from the tank to verify the fire was completely extinguished. And firefighters, they remained on the scene until the process was complete, okay? And according to the plant manager, the damage from the fire will have minimum impact on their operations. So there's another one for you. Funny, isn't it? Yeah. We're seeing too many of these. Too many. Way too many. So here's something for you, okay? And, you know, talking about, you know, the supply chain and, you know, things like that, and how we think our supply chain is being disrupted, you know, by these fires and these coincidences and things like that, right? So let's talk about this. Let's review some of this, okay? You want to see a picture of how many vessels are waiting to enter the port of Shanghai that's raising interest rates? Will not solve this problem. You want to see? Here. And apparently there's this other place called WeChat Moments. I don't know, I've never heard of it. It's like another platform. There's videos on that platform that's being censored as quickly as videos are being posted. Scrolling down the feed, apparently, it is just that, like, as soon as a video is uploaded, it's being taken down, and then someone will try and re-upload it, and then it's censored right away. And it depicts desperate people calling into the CDC asking for help during the Shanghai outbreak. Yeah. Now, the extended Shanghai lockdown is morphing into a logistics disaster, okay, as trucks trickle into the city, leaving empty containers piling up at the world's largest port. What's happening with the cargo there? That's the question, okay? And what else is happening? Okay, excuse me, I have an itch on my eye. Allergy season, yay. Someone else had said that the Chinese party, the Communist Party, is about to wreck our summer. The coming volume drop in ocean container volumes, or TEUs, leaving China for U.S. ports is staggering. our ocean TEU volume index in sonar now has a 14-day forward look at volumes, and it looks ugly. By early May, this month, we could see lowest levels we've ever seen since May of 2022. And there will be a huge surge of these containers from China when it resumes its economy. But no one knows when it's supposed to happen, how long it will take, how backed up the domestic supply chains are. And for now, we know that the freight market is slowing, and China's the only one that's making things worse right now. There was a 7% drop this week in trucking shipping rates. A large private consumer kitchenware manufacturer has said that they have seen a large contraction in demand over the past 8 weeks. And if you're asking, how does this tie into falling demand and record inventory, depending on like which sectors being referenced and things like that, it's really hard to say. It could allow inventories to burn off, but the biggest question is what those inventories consist of. How long will Chinese manufacturing be shut down? There's too many questions at this point. I don't think anybody has any answers to anything right now because of what's going on in Shanghai. I think one of the biggest questions is the slowdown in Shanghai at all welcome? That's the big question. To the extent U.S. merchants have ordered too much inventory in the face of the falling demand, perhaps. What is China doing? No, we don't know. Every other country on the planet, they're loosening restrictions. So what's really going on over there? Why are they tightening restrictions when every other country is loosening the restrictions? It just doesn't make sense, does it? What do they know that nobody else does? So there's a lot of questions that seem to just go unanswered constantly. Now, moving on to this map of the U.S. was sent to me, okay? And it's distribution of HPAI detections in the U.S. And this was as of April 30th, 2022. And if you don't know what HPAI is, it's the bird, the sickness and all. It's the number of positive states, which is 39. The number of wild birds in 43 species is 899. The number of poultry premiums, which is 271. Okay, and there's a color code. There's light pink, dark pink, and then like a tan color. So you can see what I'm talking about. Hi, Stormy Bug. So then a subscriber, she just reached out and she said, so we just had an alert come across the wires that it was detected, the bird stuff in Oklahoma. She said, what's next? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's next. I think everybody's asking themselves that question. What's next? It's like, you don't want to be surprised anymore. You really don't. And then somebody else had said to me, in an email, it was mentioned in passing during an interview that the factory that makes grain mills has burned down. So there's another fire, another coincidence. Seriously? I don't know what grain mill. No further information was given, and the interview was last week. So if anybody knows, please, pass on the information. Really, Stormy, did you have to do that? So listen to this. This subscriber, she got a hold of me. She's like, I'm still trying to digest a visit from Governor DeWine in my city a few days ago. And he's always informative and supportive of the state that she lives in, which is Ohio. She said, I knew smart cities were coming to metro areas, but I didn't think it would be this soon in my area. His announcement of this for our city also included bulldozing down an old abandoned hospital, many older homes that were boarded up when jobs left our area, and some closed businesses. Also, the one city limit trailer park where people own their trailers but not the lot, they're being told that they have to move. Yeah. And most of the trailers can't be moved due to like the trailer wheels being seized up for years, and every one of these demolition sites, apartments, they're going to be going up in those areas. And not one of these developers will be offering low-cost housing either. So they're not like solving a problem. If anything, in my opinion, they're creating more of a problem here. You're kicking out people who can afford their mobile home, and you're going to put in apartments that, let me guess, you're going to rent out what, $2,000 a month? This governor's being stupid, right, Stormy? I know. And so this Governor DeWine, he handed out a check for surveillance cameras and technology to the chief of police, while our mayor, Franklin, looked on as the governor explained the intentions for the check and said there was available pictures and pamphlets for further explanation for the city residents. She said, below, I attached some pictures of those and the two news articles about the visit, not so informative. I couldn't find the news videos of the whole speech, as many of us were not happy knowing our every movement and every conversation will be viewed in the very near future. Guess they didn't want the crowd's reaction on video. By the way, I'm getting them phone call offers on my house from the developers again. Yeah, they don't stop here. They do not stop here when I tell you. I get 2-3 a day, every single day, with the exception of Sunday. Yeah. She said, now I figured since I live on one of those streets that's targeted for redevelopment, it makes sense. They had this plan since at least 2006, and the publication date on the pamphlet, heads up everyone. Okay, so she put the pictures in. All right, so I'll put those in after I get done reading the rest of what she wrote. She said, Stormy. She also said, Governor Mike DeWine said an uptick in violent crime is taking place in cities across the state, and the state legislator, working with the governor's office, has set aside funds to help local police departments. Would you stop? He said, we see across the state and county an increase in violent crime. Violent crime can impact the quality of life in people. Of course it can. But, I'm just going to shut up and just continue reading. The money is to be used to advance technology in the department. Safety Service Director Eddie Colbert said the department applied for funds several months ago. We know that policing is based on person-to-person interactions, but it's getting increasingly technical. The state understands that. And Colbert said city officials discussed the police department's needs during talks on how to use American Rescue Plan funds. This money may be used instead of using ARP funds to fill those needs. Mayor Doug Franklin was surprised by the governor's announcement. We talked about our needs during a meeting at the governor's mansion earlier. Shortly afterward, the governor set down a delegation of law enforcement from the State Department of Safety to see what he could do to help. Would you stop? And then it says a little more than $218,000 has been awarded to the Warren Police Department criminal intelligence units to buy new technology. Police say the money will be used to purchase more surveillance systems to install around the southwest side of the city. Would you stop? They take care of the security for the community, but they need help. And we're seeing more violent crimes, and this money is specifically to deal with violent crime. DeWin said the money is part of the first round of funding through the Ohio Violent Crime Reduction Grant Program. What's next? Stop and frisk? Wow. We've got hungry homeless people in the state of Ohio. That money should go for jobs, food, and housing. Yeah, but they want to put up high rises. Jeez. You want to hear about another coincidence? Listen to this. My husband is a conductor for Amtrak. His train is not able to run today. Coming home from Minot, M-I-N-O-T, North Dakota, because at 2 a.m. a freight train derailed 8 cars right outside of Minot. He said a car with paper in it and a car full of tater tots is on fire. He said, I don't understand why it's burning though. Doesn't make any sense. And he's right. I've been married to him for 11 years. And all that time, trains have derailed several times a year. Stormy, stop it. Never, and I mean never, has one of them caught fire unless there were harsh chemicals being transported in the derailed cars. This is completely out of the ordinary for these types of products. There's another coincidence for you. Just saying. So, before I go, here's something else. And, you know, we're talking about coincidences and what our cities and towns want to do to the people who live there, right? But listen to this. Now, we were just talking about Ohio, right? Well, here's Kansas City, Missouri for you. And a subscriber said, seriously, a way to corral family members and easier to track. These clowns need to live like the rest of us, trying to make it on their own with inflation and housing costs, etc. Kansas City voted unanimously to ban co-living in rental units, effectively making roommates illegal. You get that? It's now illegal to have a roommate. So if you can't make it on your own in Missouri, guess what? You're SHIT out of luck. Shawnee, SHWNEE, Kansas, unanimously banned co-living, targeting unrelated roommates who split the cost of rent. So if you're not living with your sister or your cousin, guess what? If you're not related to your roommate, one of you's got to go. And that's not right. How many of you, whether you were in college or you had your first, apartment, how many of you rented an apartment with a roommate? Raise your hand. Yeah, me too. I was 19 years old, and I moved back to Atlantic City after I graduated from high school, and I got an apartment with a friend from college. And we lived together. We both had jobs and we both went to school. But now that's considered illegal. How stupid. Across the country, people have turned to roommates to counteract the rising cost of rentals and housing. But now you're not allowed to do that. Nay, nay. Don't even think about it, unless you're related. And who the hell can put up with relatives nowadays? I know I have. I found it very difficult. So rent in the Shawnee area has risen over 11% since 2019. And that is according to the Washington Post and things like that. But you know your area, right? Since 2019 around here, I own my home, but since 2019 around here, like the house next door where, you know, my friends live, the rent there used to be $550. Now, for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, $1,500. Okay. Yeah, it's a little crazy. Now, if you want to like rent a house like mine, totally fenced in backyard, yada yada yada, you're looking at about $2,000 to $2,500 a month. Yeah. So the Shawnee ordinance, said a group of people is co-living if it includes at least 4 adults who are unrelated. Only 1 adult needs to be unrelated for the entire group to be classified as unrelated. So if it's you and your sister and your 2 friends, guess what? Doesn't matter if it's you and your sister who are related. Your 2 friends, they gotta go. And city staff received input and concerns from relatives and city council members regarding a relatively new trend where single-family homes are being purchased and converted into rental units with multiple individual tenants. I got another story for you, so hang on. In this arrangement, individual tenants have leases of varying lengths, have separate secure access to their rooms, and often do not know or have relationships with the others who are also occupying the same single-family dwelling. And they're also saying that the rental agreements are not typical of common rental uses in single-family districts that are occupying these the family units, right? And the city council, they did not immediately, they're not going to comment or say anything, right? Now, you all know a subscriber of mine, I always call her Cupcake Girl. Why? Because she owns her own gourmet cupcake business, Mountain House Cupcakes. And she's going through something similar, but it has nothing to do with you can't live with a relative or whatever, What her scumbag landlord did, and this, he is a real estate lawyer. They live in California. He took a single-family home, put up a partition wall, and said, here, now it's a duplex. She went to go get a home business license or something like that so she can cook inside the house, like make her cupcakes at home and then sell them, you know what I mean, like online or whatever the case may be. And the city or whatever township said, your address doesn't exist. She's like, wait a minute. What do you mean it doesn't exist? I live there. This rat did it the illegal way and is charging her and this roommate of hers that lives on the other side of the partition wall an insane amount of money. And yeah, so he's in trouble. Whether he believes it or not, he's in trouble. He has to come within compliance. He had a certain amount of time. Did he do it? I don't know. I haven't spoken to her yet. I'm hoping that he does come within compliance, because, you know, I told her, I said, you know, if you have to, I said, you come here. You can come here, stay with me. I don't care. I know it's in California. You're in California, but come on. Because I'm not going to allow her to not have a place to live. She has a teenage son. I'm not going to allow that to happen. No. But, you know, this is ridiculous. So if you're a college student, you know, in Kansas City, that's a huge city. That's like the main, you know, in Missouri. You can't, no way. That's ridiculous, man. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fearless. All right? Ciao.